Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan.
And we are broadcasting live from the Snarful Solutions Group right here in Sacramento, California.
Yep, it is Friday, May 8th, 2026.
And if you're local, it's looking like a beautiful day. We've got sunny skies, about 83 degrees outside, and just a really light 6-mile-per-hour wind.
Which is honestly a relief compared to the rest of the country right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Nationally, there are 173 active weather alerts, with 55 of those over land. So definitely stay safe if you're traveling.
Right. And looking at the markets, it was a bit of a rough day yesterday. The Dow took a pretty decent hit, dropping over 405 points. That's about 0.81% to close at 49,596.97.
Yeah, and the S&P 500 dipped too, down about 39 points, settling at 7,337.1 at.
Bitcoin is also doing that hover thing again. It's just under 80K, sitting at 79,686.43.
Which is down slightly for the day, but, still up over 1,100 points for the week, so not too shabby.
True. And for the sports fans, no games for the local Kings or the SF Giants yesterday.
But the Oakland A's absolutely crushed the Phillies, 12-1. JT Ginn took the win, which was honestly just an incredible game to watch.
Oh, absolutely. But all right, let's transition to the main event today. We are taking a deep dive into the source material surrounding global tech friction.
Yeah, we really want to explore the cascading real-world impacts of this stuff. I mean, we're talking about everything from supply chain crunches hitting family living rooms to massive software vulnerabilities that are, frankly, disrupting global education.
It's all connected, which is exactly what we do here.
Exactly. But before we jump in, we have a quick word from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Strong Coffee, the premium instant coffee that tastes like a traditional brew, but is packed with 15 grams of protein, MCTs, and adaptogens like ashwagandha. Get clean, sustained energy without the jitters. Use promo code SNARFL for 20% off at strongcoffeecompany.com.
All right, so let's unpack this first story, because this is going to affect a lot of parents out there. Nintendo just announced a global price hike for the Switch 2.
And it is not a small hike either. Mm-hmm. Starting September 1st, the U.S. price is jumping from $450 up to $500.
Yep. And it's hitting everywhere. Canada goes up $50 to $679.99. Europe gets a €40 bump to $499.99.
And Japan is getting hit even earlier, right? Like May 25th.
Exactly, May 25th. And they're seeing price hikes across the entire board. Not just the Switch 2, but the original Switch line, Nintendo Switch Online, and strangely enough, even their traditional playing cards.
Wait, playing cards? Like actual paper cards?
Yeah, literal playing cards, which kind of hints that this isn't just arbitrary inflation. There's a massive physical supply chain issue going on here.
Right, and we should probably explain the why behind the electronic side of this.
Yeah.
Because usually consoles get cheaper over time, right?
Historically, yes, but we are currently in the middle of a global memory shortage. The industry is actually calling it RAMageddon.
RAMageddon. Gotta love tech industry branding.
Right, but it's serious. Basically, the massive build-out of AI data centers, by companies like Meta, Google, Microsoft, has created this unbelievable surge in demand for DDR5 RAM and solid-state drives.
Okay, so the big AI companies are basically buying up all the memory chips to build their massive servers.
Exactly, which drives up the cost for everyone else. Add in those April 2025 Trump tariffs on Vietnam and China, and the whole hardware ecosystem is just stretched incredibly thin.
I mean, it's kind of like trying to buy flour during a massive neighborhood baking craze.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Like AI companies are buying up all the ingredients to bake these massive data centers, and gamers are just left paying double for the scraps just to play a video game.
That's exactly what's happening. And the real-world impact here is that gaming, which used to be the standard, relatively accessible family pastime, is becoming a luxury hobby.
Yeah, $500 is a lot of money for a family.
It is. And Nintendo isn't alone in this. Sony bumped the PS5 Pro to $900 recently.
Which is just wild.
Right. And Valve had to completely delay the Steam Machine because they couldn't source the parts affordably.
Wow. Okay, but let's look closer at this Nintendo situation, moving on to our next story.
Yeah.
Because their newly released Q4 financials just came out.
Yep, they did.
So if things are so expensive to make, Is Nintendo actually losing money?
Oh, definitely not. Not even close.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they just reported full fiscal year sales of $14.6 billion. That is a 98.6% increase.
Almost double. That is insane.
Right, and their operating profit is up 27.5%. The Switch 2 sold 19.86 million units, which actually outsold the original Switch's first full year.
Okay, and I saw their software is booming too. Mario Kart World moved, 14.7 million units?
Yep, and Pokemon Legends ZA is doing massive digital numbers as well.
So wait, I have to push back here. Let's look closer at this corporate narrative.
Sure.
They just had the best console launch in their history. Their IP is exploding. I mean, this Super Mario Galaxy movie grossed over $800 million in just 4 weeks.
Yeah, it was a smash hit.
Yet their Q4 revenue actually missed estimates. And they are projecting a massive 100 billion yen hit to revenue next year. Are they just sandbagging their expectations?
It really looks like that on the surface, but you have to understand how hardware life cycles work. Launch years are always heavily front-loaded.
Right, because all the diehard fans buying on day one.
Exactly. But now they're facing this $50 price hike because of component costs. That instantly cools down the more casual buyers. Plus, consumers are still totally happy playing older original Switch games, like Animal Crossing.
Oh, right, because the Switch 2 is backwards compatible.
Yep. So projecting a drop to 16.5 million hardware units for the next fiscal year, that's not sandbagging. That's just a realistic stabilization when your supply chain is this hostile.
Got it. So they're flush with cash. But they know the hardware market is about to hit a brick wall because of RAMageddon.
Exactly.
Okay, well, let's pivot a bit. We just talked about the vulnerability of hardware supply chains and entertainment. But what about the software our kids rely on for their actual futures?
Yeah, the Canvas situation. This is rough.
It is genuinely alarming. The massive EdTech platform Canvas, which is owned by Instructure, was completely taken down this week.
And we are talking about a platform used by 275 million users across roughly 9,000 institutions.
Right, and it got hit by a data extortion attack from a cybercrime group called Shiny Hunters.
The timeline on this is just pure chaos. So Shiny Hunters actually breached them on May 1st.
Okay.
And the very next day, May 2nd, the chief information security officer for Instructure claimed the whole thing was, quote, contained.
Which was clearly not true, because by May 7th, students from Harvard down to local high schools were logging in to take their final exams, and what did they see?
A literal ransom demand plastered right on their screens, right in the middle of finals week.
Which is just a nightmare for those kids.
Yeah.
So Instructure pulls the plug in the whole system, and they slap a scheduled maintenance label on the site.
Yeah, which is just bad PR.
I mean, calling a massive system-wide ransomware defacement scheduled maintenance feels like telling you your car is resting when the engine is actively on fire.
It really does.
Why downplay it when millions of students are physically locked out of their finals?
Because the reality is incredibly embarrassing for them. This wasn't some incredibly advanced zero-day hack. Shiny Hunters often uses a really low-tech strategy called voice phishing.
Wait, voice phishing, like they just call people on the phone?
Basically, yeah. They target systems like Okta or Salesforce by calling a company's IT help desk, pretending to be an employee who lost their phone, and begging for a password reset or a multi-factor authentication bypass.
Oh, wow. So they just social engineer the IT guy into handing over the keys to the castle?
Exactly. And the worst part is this is a re-compromise. Shiny Hunters actually breached Instructure back in September of 2025, too.
Wait, really? Last year?
Yeah. They used that breach to leak University of Pennsylvania donor records. So Instructure knew these guys were a threat, and they still left a door open.
That is just wild to me.
It really highlights the danger of single points of failure in our digital infrastructure. When one platform like Canvas holds the keys to 9,000 schools, the leverage these hackers have is just immense.
Because if they break that one central lock, the whole system comes crashing down.
Right. 9,000 schools paralyzed by one bad IT phone call.
That is a terrifying thought. Well, before we wrap up, a quick thanks to Old Glory, an iconic music and sports fan merch store, perfect for the techie in your life. Use promo code SNARFL for 15% off at oldglory.com.
So looking back at all the sources we unpacked today, there's a pretty clear theme here.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's AI data centers over in Virginia driving up the cost of your kid's gaming console, or massive companies struggling to navigate these volatile supply chains despite making record profits.
Or, hackers bringing the global education system to its knees with a phone call.
Right. We're all just deeply, deeply reliant on a very fragile, interconnected tech ecosystem.
We really are.
And we want to leave you with a final thought to ponder today. If a single cybercriminal group can paralyze 9,000 schools through one software platform, how many other single points of failure are quietly lurking in the workplace software you use every single day?
Yeah, that'll definitely make you look twice at your login screen tomorrow.
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.